Welcome in, friends, to another episode of 5 Minutes with Sean, maybe 10. Yes, once again, still the late night editions here. Hope you're joining me with whatever you do to relax on a fine evening after work. So look, here it is, right? This is a new thing for us now. It's the second Monday in a row. You've seen us released after, the late afternoon, if you will. So it's very interesting to kind of change up the habit a little bit, still sticking with the Mondays. So thank you again for joining me. So here we are, end of July, and a lot of discussion that I hear and read is about new car compression. New car sales being sluggish, down in some areas, extremely slow, depending on the brand, obviously, depending on the market area, etc. But we're here in the Midwest, so we hear a lot of that. Typically seems like things kind of start here or kind of converge in from the coast. So I want to talk about a couple of the factors that I think are in play. One of them, obviously, used cars are on fire. Got it. Good. Awesome. Like, as dealerships, we have to do what we have to do to survive strategically. I think it's very important we continue to do that. The other thing is, reading an article recently that new car prices have gone up, right? So here the demand for new cars has done this. New car prices have done this. Typical OEM lack of attention. And so here we go, right, with this. We're not putting any money on the hood. We're not really doing anything to incentivize this yet. We're just throwing them. The dealers have to accept them. They're stacked up. I mean, dealers will tell you their lots are as full as they've been, especially with the SUV craze and vehicles that are just sitting there, again, stacked from the manufacturer. That I get it's a wholesale game for them, but on the retail side, if you're going to do that, you've got to figure out a way to incentivize and move stock that way, man. I mean, you have to do it when it gets to be sort of this. Is it the end of it? No, it's kind of a hiccup, I think, hopefully. But right now, it's becoming a little bit of a roadblock. Selling new cars, getting the incentive out there. People are coming to showrooms. People are talking about new cars. They're just not pulling the trigger. There are some people that think in the automotive community that they are waiting for EV to take over. They don't want to make investment in new cars. An article I read from AP News back in late June talked about how the average age of a vehicle now has reached an all-time high. A couple of their factors were built to last longer and financed longer. That was an interesting part of that as well. So you consider those factors. I think we could do a better job with how we look to market and advertise as far as the efficiency goes with that. So if demand is lower, has your budget followed that demand and the allocation of funds towards that effort of new cars? Or is the idea, if I outspend, I'll create a new car market? Because once again, if you're spending money to just talk about things that you have a gluttony of inventory, wonderful, but until someone gives you a good enough incentive and something to scream about, it's going to be real tough to move that needle on a marketing dollar. Now, incentives go up. I can understand putting some more money behind a message. I don't think there's any doubt about that ever. But so I ask people all the time, what's your average number of vehicles in stock, and then what's the age of those units for your new car inventory? Where are the sweet spots for you? What are the target areas? Are you a volume dealer? Right? What are the goals that we're trying to accomplish with new cars? Because the people I hear that aren't selling new cars, you're looking at that year over year. And obviously from the last 3 years plus, we've sort of been on a slower decline. This seems to have picked up just a little bit more recently with that. And again, economic features of the economy. Everyone looks like they're spending money. All of that looks like it's happening. And you can tell it on the used car side. That's the interesting part about it. And now I'm seeing people try to flip customers from used cars into new cars, which is hilarious because for the last, decade, it was for a good amount of that decade the opposite approach. So when you have new car compression, what does that do to your finance office? Does that negatively impact them? I'm going to guess with the number of units coming through the door, less it probably does. But is there higher gross profit on the used cars? Those are some of the things that I consider important to what I look at and the dealers that I'm talking with. But it is about that turn. It is about that incentive. Heck, people are really talking about if I've got 2 black cars in stock and one of them has less options and but has been there less time, then I will happily discount the older inventory stock further and deeper than they could even get the model below it. So I think there can be some real advantages to the market. So this is just one of those things that I've been hearing a lot about recently. I thought I would bring it to the forefront. I thought I would have a discussion about it. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please let me know, 262-278-0157. That is the best way to get a hold of me there. LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and obviously we're all over the podcast networks. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you close July strong, and we'll see you again in August. Thanks.